Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see you all again. Just waiting on a couple more people to jump on. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Kayvon. You guys changed the setup. I like it. Looking good.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we're actually using my computer. Usually we've got the laptop over here, so you see the other part of the room.
Yeah, I love seeing that pyramid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Cannot wait to sit in there.
Oh yeah, you already know the codes are being distributed.
Philip and Nina are here. That's so great.
Are we gonna be neutralizing?
And I got the evil address on.
Good.
Oh, okay. I feel like I can confident.
All right. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled that you're here once again for the 2019 Sacred Sex, Sacred Family Virtual Summit. It has been an amazing journey. We are right in the middle of day 3, and I'm preparing myself for a really juicy discussion because Michelle and Kayvon, they do not hold back. If I know anything about these guys, they go full out. So if you want to take notes, get ready to take notes, but the replay is going to be available. So you can always have that in the back of your mind. You don't have to write everything down. So I'm so thrilled to welcome Michelle and Kayvon, who are my teachers, actually. I joined the New Earth Self-Leadership Academy this past summer for an incredible transformative experience. And I'm actually doing it again because once was not enough. There was just so much rich, incredible, life-changing info. I knew I had to do it again. And I know I'm not the only one who's done it several times also. I'll have them tell you a little bit more about it. So I am just so thrilled that you guys said yes to this, to speaking about sacred sex and sacred family. And for the first thing, I would love to just ask you to kind of introduce yourselves and maybe tell us how each of you got on this path and what brought you here. Oh yeah, you gotta unmute yourself.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna let Kayvon do his introduction because if you're familiar with us, I'm the manifesting generator, always ready to jump out of the gate and start going. So we're gonna let Kayvon set the tone, a much calmer tone.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you, Margarita. We love you so much, and we are so proud of everything that you're doing. Just you connecting with everybody and bringing us together. This is just a beautiful moment. So we really do appreciate everything that you're doing. And we appreciate each and every one of our fellow activated light warriors and masters out here, you know, enlightening the crowd, dropping the jewels. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And before I start, or as I'm starting, I also want to thank each and every one of you. And I want to say that I love you, I forgive you, I allow you, and I accept you. It is so important that we start this off and we keep it going within our heart space, because this is about love, this is about family, this is about unity. So I love each and every one of you, and thank you. Sage is done.
Yeah, it feels good in here.
Awesome.
Hey, Z and Ange.
Hello,
So
hello, all of our friends and family. So my name is Kayvon Fair. Some people call me KV. How did I start on the process? Ooh, wee. Just real quick, you know, I came from just like a normal, everyday Christian, you know, Black family growing up in Miami. And it wasn't all about enlightenment. It wasn't all about, it was love, but it wasn't really, you know, we didn't really know each other. We were all pretty much just going off of our natural intuition. So when I asked and I prayed to have some type of information to bring more clarity, this human design information kind of popped into my life. And I always tell everybody that this is prayed for information, because I prayed for this. I prayed and I asked to be this vessel and this messenger to be able to deliver, you know, the goods, and to be able to be a force of inspiration. So that's who I am. You know, I consider myself to be a force of inspiration. I'm also a coach. I'm a lover of life. I'm a lover of people. So you guys just lay around for it. The jewels are coming. So just thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you again, Margarita. And
Yes.
that's me in a little nutshell.
Yay, I'm so happy you guys are here.
Yeah, and it's I caught a few of the other presentations. I'm looking forward to seeing the recordings of the rest, but I just really appreciate, Margarita, how you've created this space that feels really safe. Like, people feel very comfortable, you know, asking questions and interacting. Like, you've somehow attracted this really, well, not somehow, we know how, because we know who you are and your vibration, but like, this is a really lovely community to be a part of and participating in. So I'm just really grateful. And as to your question, how did I come to human design? I came to human design because of profound suffering. And I'm getting emotional. I was in the park one day in Chicago, and I was like, all right, guys, I've had enough. Where is he? You've got to be in Chicago. Like, I need this, that, and the other. And a lot of you know this story. I was like, it's got to be an earth sign, because I'm a lot of air and fire. I get super ungrounded, and I need to ground in these big things that I'm doing. And I said, I don't know, I had Virgo. My dad was a Virgo. It's too triggering. Tauruses always break my heart. Can you send me a Capricorn? Because they get stuff done. So a few days later, Kayvon inboxes me. Now, I'm not connecting this at all. And he's like, something is telling me that we need to talk. And I've seen his photos on Facebook and stuff. We actually met through the Resistance. Thank you, Seven. And so, you know, we had been Facebook friends, but I saw his picture. I was like, oh, he's way too young for me. Like, that's never going to work. Like, I was dating people like 12 years older than me. I was looking for like an old, elderly man who like was super wise and 500 years old. I thought that's what I needed, right? So instead, I got the ancient one in a young body.
Yes.
So he inboxed me, and he's like, oh, we should talk. And I was like, thinking he's too young. I was like, you know, it's really late. Like, you know, thank you though. Like, maybe tomorrow we can talk. And he said, okay, no problem. I'm a very patient man. And as soon as he said that, I picked up the phone and called him right away, because I was like, whoever's going to deal with this, they're going to have to be incredibly patient, because there's a lot of chaos going on here. And then he proceeded to give me this reading of this human design system. I have notes from back then. I was calling it life design. I didn't even get the name right. And, you know, finding out about what it is to be a manifesting generator and a 6-3, and that it's okay that I'm chaotic and a late bloomer, and I'm not this perfect 5 energy all the time. It's actually okay. Like, I can say that it saved my life. So between this and, you know, you're familiar with the shamanic healing that I do, I immediately said to Kayvon, I was like, would you please come and join my coaching company? Because I feel like with these 2 sets of tools together, like, we can clear out anything. So he said yes. And from the beginning, we were both very clear that this was a dharmic relationship. And then all the other stuff was like a very long path of discovery. And I hope that we'll be able to share with you today sufficiently the human design, so you can get a feeling of how this information can bring so much spaciousness and forgiveness to your relationships. And I really feel like Kayvon, having put all the energy into studying this, it really allowed us to get through some really challenging stuff, because even though we're doing all this enlightened stuff and everything, we had triggers, we had abusive stuff to get over, we had, you know, intergenerational trauma, legacy burdens, etc. So what we hope to communicate to you today is a little bit about how this can also help you just kind of let go of some of the heaviness of the homogenization and colonization we've all been subjected to.
Yes.
So how do you feel about me jumping into the
Oh,
next?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are ready.
So Margarita, in order for me to do screen share, is it just like if I'm the regular host?
I think so. Try it.
So,
You don't have to. Yeah.
okay, I go here, right?
Go to the finder. Is the finder where you have the stuff at, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then you go to share.
Okay.
You can make your screen back. Full screen now.
Okay. It's just hard for me to see. Here, you want to do that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so while we're doing this setup, I'll just start speaking a little bit. So human design, I really want to mention something here, because I've seen several times online this discussion of like human design or astrology, as if they're really a binary. And I just really want to be clear that comparing human design to astrology, it does a disservice to both, because human design is an amalgamation of several different wisdom traditions. Yeah, that's what I want to start with.
This one right here?
The strategy and authority.
Okay.
Several different wisdom traditions, and this is very much a case in which the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So human design doesn't diminish the I Ching, astrology, the Kabbalah, the chakra system. It doesn't diminish any of that. But what does happen is there's this alchemical thing that happens, that when you bring these traditions together and amalgamate them, you get information that is not available even if you were to study each of those traditions on their own separately. And the main thing that we're getting from human design is the knowledge of the form, the knowledge of the Maya, the mechanics of the Maya. So what I'd really like to emphasize today is what we're talking about is mechanical. So as we speak about the different types of mechanical differences that we embody in this experience, I want you to compare it to, say, the difference between a sailboat and an 18-wheeler, or a jet plane and a sports car. We don't get upset that the sports car isn't behaving like a jet plane. We don't get upset that the 18-wheeler won't act like a sailboat, right? And yet, what we're doing to ourselves and to one another is just that silly. We have this doctrine that understandably we've all jumped on because it sounded really good. We're all created equal, right? And we're all equally loved. We are all equally expressions of source and source love. But we are not equal by any means in our design. We are incredibly, breathtakingly unique. And I really want to repeat this message. You probably heard it from me before, because when we take on this doctrine of equality, that everyone's equal, the shadow side of that is that we're all the same, we're interchangeable, and our value becomes diminished. Because get rid of one, pop in another. They're all the same. And that's really not what's happening here. There will never be another you. I saw someone actually calculate the potential number of different human design charts that could exist. The number was something my brain couldn't even comprehend. We are so special. We are special snowflakes. We really are.
Yes.
So today we're going to help to empower you to embrace how you are designed and release the stuff that even well-meaning people kind of layered on you, trying to force you to be something that you're not.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep going?
Yeah. But just to piggyback on that a little bit, it's so important. It's just so important especially when it comes to dealing with our sexuality, because we just put each other in the same pot. Men, you're supposed to be this way. Women, you're supposed to be that specific way. And what we've learned is literally depending on whatever gates that you have activated within your chart, it is so different. You know what I mean? Like, some people are very sexual. Some people are more caring. Some people are touchy-feely. Some people are more activated via the voice. So, we're going to go over some of these activations and these things like that. And it's pretty deep and interesting to know that our sexuality is based on these activations that's going on inside of us. And it's not really some mental homogenized program. It's really the energy. It's all about the energy. And learning yourself, what I've learned through this process is it's just because we teach self-activation or self-leadership. I just want to let everybody know this is higher self-leadership. This is higher self-activation. This is allowing your higher self to kind of drive your vehicle so that your personality can kind of reap the benefits of this beautiful life and this exciting life that we're having. So learning these little extra ins and out about who you are and these details, it only goes to perfect the vehicle, And when you're walking around with a perfected vehicle, it's like walking around with a perfected identity. You feel safe and secure. You feel as if you have everything going on and you can do anything. So this is liberating and inspiring us to be more of who we are without any type of, rules and regulations or outer judgments telling us to be a specific way.
Yes, and I'm glad you said the rules, because that's triggering something I really want to say. Part of the reason I'm so hyped up about human design is that as you get into this knowledge and really start to see the depth and breadth of what this is saying about us as a species, you've got to come to the acceptance of the fact that when you start to embrace individuality and how unique we are, there are no rules. When I say no rules, I'm talking about no rules. And that's really challenging for us, because we've inherited a lot of stuff from the 7-centered Homo sapiens, which, by the way, is no longer who we are. We now have 9 main chakra centers. We had to expand. We're in a much more complicated scenario now. But we've inherited a lot of stuff from there that's very heavy, like the fundamentalist stuff from the tribe. It was about survival and keeping us alive and keeping the longevity of the tribe. And so we can embrace it for what it was, but also recognize that we're not like our ancestors. And I don't just mean because we have cell phones and we have internet. We're literally not structured like they were.
Yes.
But out of this misguided sense of loyalty, we're trying to force upon ourselves and one another these old 7-centered being traditions.
Yes, like, for example, Black people sleep with Black people, white people sleep with white people, Asian people sleep with Asian people. It was less mixing and matching. because it was more like putting everybody in their place. The 7 is all about the teacher. The teacher can't teach a class if everyone is scattered. So that mentality, which left us back in what? 1781. That mentality has left us back in 1781. From then on, from 1781 on to now, we're these 9-centered Uranian beings with extended lifelines.
Yes.
And with more connection and access to our sacred centers from within.
Yes.
So
yeah, I didn't want to stop your flow, babe, but it just made me realize that I should share this. So again, I just want to kind of say right now, I see that a lot of people on the call already have either been clients or students or they are friends of ours, but I just want to give a little visual. Today, we're actually going to be giving a very advanced discussion of human design. So if you don't even know what human design is before today, please don't stress. We have a very lengthy free workshop on YouTube. Just go look up Intro to Human Design Aura Types Activation Coaching. And
or website.
Yeah, or go to our website, activationcoaching.com, and go on the final tab has all our free workshops. But this will just kind of give you a visual of what we're talking about here. So with the 9 centers, I want you to notice the spleen is now a major chakra center. We had to develop a much more advanced splenic center because we're in a very complicated survival situation. There are still technically in some places of the world beasts that can kill you, but now there's also like GMOs and like government mind control. You know, there's all this other stuff going on.
Belief systems.
Yeah, so the spleen is now a major center. Additionally, the heart is 2 different centers now. You have this identity center, the G center, and then you also have the ego willpower center. So the heart is actually now 2 major centers. And as many of you are aware, you know, we're really moving into a more heart-centered experience. Whereas before, with the 7-centered being, all the decisions were being made up here in the ajna and head, which is why we've ended up with so many atrocities in the past: the slavery, the child abuse, the exploitation, the separation. Those were mental decision-making processes, the result of that, with no feeling. We had that experience, and now we can release it. And with human design, this is a process about getting back into body consciousness and allowing the body, the vehicle, to lead the way, because the higher self is speaking to us through the body.
Yes, and that is what changed from 7-centered into the 9-centered. Before, the God energy was outside of you. The 9-centered beings, the God energy is now inside of you and speaking to you through one of these centers.
Right, and for some people, that's your gut. For other people, it might be following the solar plexus emotional wave until they gain clarity. Other people have instant knowing of their truth in the now via the spleen. And then there's a couple of very complicated, rare cases where there is no inner authority, but that's beyond the scope of our discussion today. But that's going to bring me to the next slide. So again, if you're not familiar with human design, I recommend going to our free workshop to learn about the aura types. So again, remember, as I said, this is about mechanics.
Michelle, can you expand the image? Because it looks kind of small on my screen.
Really? Okay.
Which one?
It's only showing
the strategy and authority?
Yeah, like it's only coming up on the top. Like I see the whole screen instead.
Okay.
I wonder why that's happening.
That's weird because it's not. Now, what if I show it to you here? Is it any better when I'm showing it just out of? Should I go to just desktop sharing?
Yeah, probably.
Probably what's going on. Okay, let's see.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. So I'll just briefly show this one again for everybody.
So you guys can see it clear
Yeah.
now like that?
Can you see that?
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry, everybody.
No worries.
Yeah, so again, just the splenic center is a major center now, and the heart center is 2 separate centers. Okay.
And I just want to make another quick point, because I was a little bit confused about it in the beginning, is you can actually find out, you can get your human design chart for free.
Thank you. I meant to say that at the beginning. So humandesignamerica.com. If you don't know your human design, you might want to pop on there right now and pull up your chart. If you don't know your birth time, just give a rough estimate. You can maybe get something. So these are the centers. This is the mechanical drawing. Now notice the solar plexus and the spleen, they're kind of put out to the side. This is just for visual clarity. The solar plexus obviously is above the sacral in our physicality, but that's another thing that can be confusing. So this is not necessarily how these centers look in terms of where they're spaced in the body. This is just so there's space to see, you know, the chart. Okay, so the mechanics of the aura is discussed in our free webinar, which I highly encourage you to check out. And so the important thing to know is that the basic process of becoming liberated through human design is releasing mental decision making in favor of strategy and authority. Yes. Strategy refers to how your aura operates mechanically. And only 8% of us have an aura that's designed to initiate. The vast majority of us are here to wait in some way, shape, or form, okay? So most of us, the strategy involves some type of waiting, unless you're a pure manifester, in which case you can initiate once you follow, you know, the rules of your particular design. Authority refers to the way in which your higher self gives you the answer of what is correct or incorrect for you. So in my case, my authority is the sacral, my gut. So when you hear people say, oh, follow your gut, I've got to follow my gut. That's where my truth is. The problem can occur when somebody like me, I have all this experience that following my gut brings me to truth and brings me to these good experiences. If I said to Kayvon, look, dude, you got to follow your gut. You got to follow your gut. This becomes a big problem because Kayvon, now I can actually use our charts. Kayvon does not have a defined sacral. So if Kayvon follows his gut, he's actually picking up on other people's answers, other people's guidance. It's not his stuff, okay? So when you see these centers colored in, those are called defined centers. That means you have consistent, reliable energy in that center. Where they're white, those are undefined here, or open, where you don't even have one gate activated. Those are centers where you pick up and amplify the energy of others. So a very well-meaning healer can insist that you follow your gut or listen to your intuition. Mm-hmm. But what if your spleen is not defined? You're listening to other people's fears. It's not about you. So strategy is about respecting the mechanics of your aura. Authority is about which center, in Kayvon's case, it's the solar plexus, that lets your higher self tell you what's a yes and what's a no.
Yeah, so when it comes down to making any decision in life, you're no longer confused. Right. Once you understand how to operate, or not even operate, just how to communicate with your system, that's it. That this is where all the inner knowledge comes from. This is from, this is how you connect to that innate self. But it's only just the beginning. The strategy and authority is just only the beginning. You go into meditation, visualizations, and all type of stuff. But what I've learned was having that foundation, it strengthened up everything. Just all of my practices, everything that I do now is done with so much more confidence, because I know it's my higher self that's actually doing all of the movements, that's providing the energy to accomplish every task. So therefore, every task can be accomplished. And you live a life of just achievement after achievement, success after success, or satisfaction, or peace, or surprise, depending on which aura type you are.
Right. So, just to give you again like a visual contrast, here's Kayvon with the open sacral. Over here, you see mine is colored in, defined. My sacral energy, it's reliable, I can trust it. And this is the center that trumps all the information coming in from other centers, the pressure from my root, the intuition of the spleen, the impulse to initiate from the throat, my loving, warm G center. This sacral center trumps all of that and gives me the yes or no. The or okay? So that's just a brief discussion of that. And now I'm actually going to jump into stuff that's a little more advanced, so I hope that was pretty clear for everybody. So we're going to talk about homogenization and everybody's unique sexuality. And we're going to start with Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, beloved Dr. Phil. Now, before I go on, because I can get a little cheeky sometimes, everything we're discussing, everything is about forgiveness. So the things I'm about to say about Dr. Phil, trust that he doesn't know about human design. And as you'll see from this chart, no wonder, he's not a very open person, right? Now, the strength of that, people bring difficult people onto his show because they know he's going to stand his ground. He's going to be unwavering. He's going to tell the truth, quote unquote, which is his truth. And he's going to lay down the law, right? There's not a lot of flexibility here. That's neither bad nor good. It's what it is. So he's got the ability to be determined and stay focused. And that's how he operates. And that's correct for him, right? But I don't know if any of you saw when Kenya and Carl from Juju Mama were on his show. He was arrogant and rude and just gave them no space. I mean, he allows people to speak, but it's like he was setting them up to break them down. And it was quite offensive because any of you who know them, they actually have quite amazing insights about, the dynamics of open relating and human sexuality and the dysfunction that's going on, and have lived the reality that for them, open relating has actually been good for them, good for their marriage. So you can't really say monogamy is the only way, Dr. Phil. But check this out, guys. Dr. Phil, first of all, he's got the channel of the marriage contract, 4037, okay? His personality sun, gate 40, is the gate of masturbation. This is not a channel of sexual fulfillment. This is a channel of possession and obligation. It's the tribal marriage contract. Additionally, with every center defined on his chart, doesn't matter who he's in a relationship with, their marriage has no space for openness. Yes. There's no space for that here. Additionally, whoever Dr. Phil has sex with, it's going to be a pretty consistent experience. Now, he might get with somebody filling him up over here and get kind of a jolt out of that. But for the most part, he's already defined in the sacral and emotional center, these are really the centers involved in the hot sexuality, the sexual act. So there's not a lot of space for different experiences and being open-minded, okay? Now, he's not aware of this. So again, we're all created equal, right? He's assuming, well, everybody has access to this. If they're not stepping up and doing this, that, or the other, they're being lazy. Or if they're, mopey and holding grudges, they need to just get over their emotions. Because he's got defined, consistent, reliable willpower, and he's got a defined, consistent emotional center so he can emotionally get over things. You see? Do you want to say anything, or can I go to Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, I was just looking at the chat.
Do you want to see the chat? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, Tasha, I'm glad you're here because Tasha is also a defined person like this.
Yes.
Okay, and Tasha is open-minded. Also, Ange is on here who has a defined mind. But our friend Ange is super open-minded. So basically, you've been defined to be open. So your consistent habit mentally is open. I'm assuming Dr. Phil came from some sort of upbringing where his mind got defined to being sort of strict and, you know, towing the line. Maybe it was very Christian. I don't really know that much about his personal background. So there's, and also Z has a defined mind, but she's also very open-minded. So go ahead.
So what makes his situation difficult when it comes to just open relating. So if anyone has this type of chart, like our friend Tasha, we put you on the spot.
Yeah.
We know you got all your centers defined. So, but when you have all of your centers defined, when it comes to open relating, the issue here is literally energy. The reason why Dr. Phil is talking about monogamy is because he doesn't have one open center to allow anyone else's imprint into his energy field. So anyone that he dates or that he's married to, he pretty much fills up all of the open centers. So when it comes to sharing his mate, it's impossible. It's not even if he changes his mind to become open, it'll be almost energetically impossible, because he has so much going on within his energy field, to where there's no extra space, because we're only 9 centers. And now if we were 13 centered beings, then he'll have some extra space. But right now, because we're in these 9 centered vehicles, there's no room for anyone else. So in his mind, he can't even fathom how that can energetically work.
Now let's contrast that. I'm going to go backwards for a second, and let's contrast Kayvon and I, right? So this is the composite chart when Kayvon and I come together, and now I can also mention this. The mathematics of human design is this. 1 + 1 makes 3. Oh, why can't I move this? What's going on here? So when 2 people come together, you've got 2 individuals. You still are your individual charts. That doesn't go away. But then the beast with 2 backs, right? There's this third being that's created only when the 2 of you are together. This is the beast that Kayvon and I create. And look, we got an open window here. We got an open door here. The back door is open here. We've got space for other people. And this mechanical structure is one of the many reasons why we decided to be in an open relationship, because we don't have the will center defined. This is why you see we don't make a lot of videos. We don't do a lot of advertising. We don't have the energy. We don't, we don't have that extra energy. Our mind and crown is open. Mine is totally open up here. I don't have any activations up here. This is also why you run the danger. If you're talking with us, the conversation will be meandering. We're going to go all over the place. You'll be like, wait, what are we talking about?
Tangent City.
So we're so grateful for our friends with defined minds and crowns who tolerate that and are patient with us. See, the beauty of the defined mind and crown is the focus. You can be mentally focused, and you can have mental certainty. Kayvon and I can't have that, right? Remember also that the centers where you're open or undefined are centers where you're here to learn and be a student. So anyway, so here's the other thing about Kayvon and our chart. Well, no, I'm going to skip ahead if I start talking about that. So,
well, just to answer Tasha's question. Okay. So yes, it is a composite chart.
Yeah, composite, meaning, so if you took this chart and this chart, dang it, I'm getting that manifesting generator jumpiness. When you push these together into one being, it looks like this. Okay? So if you were to get a partnership reading with Kayvon, this would be the chart that will be discussed in the partnership reading. This is also going to tell you about, is there compromise, companionship, electromagnetic channels. These are the sexy channels that bring sexual attraction. But just a little tidbit, they also bring repulsion. The sexual attraction goes on a wave of attraction and repulsion. Sorry. I wish it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah, so it can be super charged up in the beginning, and then it can be the total opposite at any given time.
Yes. And that's the thing. So remember, neither the attraction nor the repulsion is the truth. These are mechanisms. So the invitation is to follow your strategy and authority and just be the passenger along for the ride. Oh, I feel super sexually attracted to you right now. Oh, no, can't do it right now. But that doesn't mean it's going to be that way forever. And incidentally, not everybody has all of these. Some people, we know a couple that had like 7, 8 electromagnetic channels.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, how do you stay? They live together. I'm like, how did you not fry each other, right? Some people, you might have a lot of companionship channels. Kayvon and I, we get along really well because we have this companionship channel. It's this understanding. It's just automatic. Okay, but I want to get back to my point, and I'm trying to stay as linear as I can. I've got the left brain type in human design. Thank you. So I want to contrast Dr. Phil with our beloved Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, the reflector.
Look at this. So Dr. Phil was a manifesting generator. Sandra Bullock, a reflector. Only 1% of us. These brave souls put their hand up to incarnate without a single center defined. What does that mean? They're subject to the conditioning of everyone around them at all times. This is the ultimate empath. Remember, every center where you're undefined, you're an empath, not only for other people, but for the energy of the planets. So Mercury retrograde for a reflector does something else.
Yes.
This is intense. So this lovely lady, every time Sandra Bullock has sex with a different person, it's going to be a very different experience. It's very, very different. So guess what? All you reflectors out there, 1000% forgiveness if you need to jump from relationship to relationship, sample things. A lot of times reflectors don't do that because they do need the energy of their partner. So it's not that you can't be monogamous or even in a steady relationship that's open, but it's okay that you feel the need to sample because you are here to be the ultimate sampler. And the beautiful gift of the reflector is they do all this sampling. All that sampling happens through one consciousness, and then they can share with us incredible wisdom.
Yes.
It's not that Dr. Phil won't have wisdom. It's not that he has nothing to share. It's just that it's very fixed, and it's difficult for him to give anything other than a fixed perspective. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Unless he's constantly emptying out the old programs and opening himself up to new and just more expansive ideas. So if you have a bunch of centers to find, you just have to do a little bit of extra work to kind of open your mind and to see things from a different light, because you can get so used to seeing things your specific way because your energy is very consistent.
Yes. Tasha says it's a constant work of releasing, true story. And then Z said, if you do the reflector right, it's a good life though. Yes. So again, all of these possibilities, none is better than the other. It's not good or bad. It's this or that. It's experiences. Source wanted to split up and test everything out. Well, what would it be like to be a Dr. Phil? What would it be like to be a Sandra Bullock, right? So these defined centers are like the pitchers, and the undefined centers are like the catchers, okay? So just being aware of this sexually too is it's important because it's going to have a big effect on your sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump into now, again, really advanced. I'm really impressed that you all are able to keep up. Thank you for your willingness to ride with us here. I think I can get off the famous people right now because I want to go into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about today.
Even though all of it is really meat and potatoes.
Yeah, it's all meat and potatoes.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
With some candy on the side, some cake.
Yeah, I'm going to give you all the 7-course meal. Okay, this is at the heart of what I'm so excited to share with you today. How do I open the chat?
Just click on go down. Click on
the orange. I just totally ignored that. So, notice on this side of the chart we have the 59.6. We could have done the whole lecture today only about this channel. This is from my experience, the sexiest channel on the chart. People with this channel have, look, it's the only channel between the pleasure center of the emotions and the sexual creation center of the sacral, okay? This is a super powerful center. This is the channel of fertility. If you have this channel, you either have a lot of children or you're doing some type of super powerful contraceptive, whether it's physical or, you know, energetic practices to be using contraceptives, right? This is super fertile. The thing about this gate 59, this gate, even if it's standing alone without the 6, the person with gate 59 can walk into a room and they can play the room like a fiddle.
Oh, yes.
This is, I mean, Ra Uru Hu, who downloaded the Human Design, he constantly makes these pronouncements about this is the most powerful and this is the most powerful. But at the end of the day, gate 59, it's a showstopper, okay? It's super sexy. When it's connected to the 6, it just means it's consistently pumping out this energy. Now, what I want to let you know for those, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to piggyback on it.
Yes.
Gate 59 has the unique ability to dissolve barriers via your sexual energy. So this is the reason why it's extremely powerful. And this is where a lot of women kind of get shut down because you get told to close your legs. You get told to close down that area. You got to wear you put on a lot of clothes, and a lot of the masculine energy has been trying to kind of quell that 59 energy because guys won't say no to you. Even women won't say no to you when you have that activation, because 5 is the number for seduction. 9 is the number for completion. So this is complete seduction.
So real.
And because it's complete, when people read the sexual energy unconsciously, it seems as if you are a sexual master when you have this number. So that activation, people with that activation, they behave as if they're sexual masters, like without them even knowing it. They always attract the most attention, but the negative side to that is that they attract the most abuse sexually.
Yes.
Because it's kind of reaching out and it's giving out a message that's saying that I have perfected my sexuality. So when it's connected to 6, the 6 is a double 3. The 3 in human design is experience. So 59 and 6 looks like an experienced master sexologist. So anyone that has this in their activation, in their chart, you probably are definitely on this call. You are definitely going to be listening to this and trying to figure out how you can kind of capitalize on this energy. Because this, whenever you see the channels connecting from one side to the next, it literally means that this is life force.
Yes.
You can gain
superpower.
Yes, you can gain life force from this, meaning survival, money, just strengthening up your life. It brings that force. So this activation is very, very important to the continuation even of our species, because it's the channel of birth, it's the channel of fertility. So yes. I just had to say that about 59. It is so huge.
This is why we love Kayvon.
Sexy by design, Nina. You gotta believe it.
And yeah, so without getting into people's business, there's a lot of people I know who are Tantra instructors or Tantra coaches. They have this line, and they just have it. So, and some of you are on this call. So I'm so grateful that you're here, because you can be aware that not everybody has this. So be aware of homogenizing and expecting that everybody has access to this, because everybody don't.
Mm-hmm.
People who have access to this, you're having a very different sexual experience than the rest of us. Please know that. And you have the power to get through certain sexual blockages in ways that might be more of a struggle for other people. So having compassion and patience, if somebody comes to you who's got nothing going on over here, it's just not consistent for them. It's like, unless it's available in another person around them, or this line is activated in the chart of the day, so everybody is experiencing that energy, they don't have access to it on a consistent basis, okay? And as Kayvon said, the thing about this gate 59, please also know, your human design chart, it's effective as soon as you take the breath, cut the umbilical cord. You don't grow into gate 59-6, you're born with it. So children, especially with this 59, see, I have 6 alone. I did not experience sexual abuse in this realm as a child. My mother has this whole line though, and went through very severe stuff, very, very severe. Gate 59 is broadcasting that sexual energy, that cutting, you know, kind of penetrating energy. This is the masculine end of the line. This is the feminine end. The 59 is like penetrating. This is the beginning of the genetic imperative to procreate. So it sends out this energy, and then gate 6 is like an on-off switch. It's like yes or no. We'll get fertile, we won't. We'll take the sperm, you know, we'll pull the sperm into the egg, we won't. But if you have gate 59, you can be standing in line at the grocery store, like sitting there like, okay, how am I gonna get the children's homework done and get dinner and then get their lunch ready for tomorrow? You're like not even thinking about sex at all. And the guy behind you is like, oh yeah, she wants it, she wants me, because he's feeling it radiating from you and then projecting onto you, because the 5 is always dealing in projection, projecting onto you that you're like super ready to get down. Mm-hmm. So just be aware that this gate can bring a lot of projections. Also, if you have this line, you can sometimes feel very invasive to people because your energy is cutting through barriers. So sometimes, you know, just be aware. And the issue with these defined centers is learning sometimes how to pull back and give space to other people, which is why I'm practicing letting Kayvon start when we do these workshops, because otherwise I'll just go and go and go. Okay, now here's a really big message. If you don't understand anything else we're talking about today, please just understand this. This side of the chart is the sexual side. It's on the right side, the emotional center, right? This is where the hot and heavy hotness of sex comes, the drama, the emotions. This is what we've come in the homogenized world to think of as love. However, I want you to really be aware, the caring side, the nurturing side, the side of the chart that can actually raise the children and make sure they have food to eat and they're getting educated, is on this side. Now, have you ever been in a relationship with someone where it's super sexual and you guys have the most amazing sex, but like outside of the bedroom or wherever you guys are getting down, it just can't stick? It can get frustrating. You can even be offended, like, what more do you need from me, right? Well, if you got a lot of stuff lit up on the right side, the sexual side of the chart, but you don't have certain things lit up on the left side, there's no capacity for sustaining the relationship, because this is the only side that can sustain. This is the side of survival and caring, without which there's just sex and nothing more. Yes. So I want you to see my face when I'm saying this. So I wanted to deliver that message because a lot of us, we get caught up in so much suffering. You know, we have sexual attraction to certain people, and we want each, you know, that attraction to lead to a relationship where everything is there and that person can be everything, our one and only. Nobody can be everything. Nobody can be everything on the sexual side, as we're about to show you. Nobody can be everything on the caring side. Guess what? That person you like to have sex, they might not have any tribal activations that will cause them to care in the way you want them to. It's not because they're a bad person. That's not what they're here for. They might be very individual like me, where the caring is like, if you're dying on the street, I'm there for you. I will save your life. But if you just want me to like hold your hand and do everything for you and you're not going to empower yourself, I'm going to get turned off and I'm going to be like, nope, sorry. Whereas the tribal, it's going to be there no matter what, because it's trying to keep the whole tribe alive. So we're going to break that down in a moment. But the message here is we have undergone sexual homogenization and caring homogenization. Okay? Some people, like I'll go back here, like our beloved Kayvon, He's got gate 27. This is the nurturing gate, okay? He's male, but he has the nurturing gate. And you can feel it when you spend time with him. It's a very nurturing energy. Like before Kayvon and I got together, I was totally eating like a Libra. Like I was like eating air and avocados. Then I got with this Taurus with gate 27. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? We need to eat proper meals. Like we have to have these proper smoothies every day. Like, and that was a big transition for me. I don't have gate 27. And I would get really triggered at times when he had the expectation of me to have gate 27 because I have gate 50. Now, just like 59 starts the impetus and 6 says yes or no, 27 starts the caring impetus and the 50 says, is it worth doing that caring or not? So 50 is like the triage of caring. It's the laws, right? So my gate 50 some days is like, I'm not going to do that, you know? I'm not, gate 50 is terrified of responsibility. And that definitely happens with me.
Because the 5 is freedom.
Yeah.
And the 0 is the womb.
Yeah.
So the 0 is the womb. It's the space. It's total free space, equalized space. So the 50 feels as if it has the right, it has the freedom to kind of roam around and to be itself. So anyone with gate 50, your caring is going to be about that. It's going to be teaching people how to care for themselves and to know how free and how much space that, you know, you actually have access to.
Yes. Okay. So are you monitoring the chat too?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into the sexuality streams. So I don't want to do that one first. That's for me. Okay. Thank you. I get super like hyped up and I get this trigger finger. Okay. The tribal stream. This is the stream of energy we inherited from our 7 centric ancestors. This is, as we saw with Dr. Phil, the marriage contract and the 1949, I can't remember the name of this.
Channel sensitivity.
Channel sensitivity, but there's another name in the thing. Might be right here, 1949, the bride and groom. Okay, so this tribal, so okay, we're on the sexual side now, remember? We're on the sexual side of the chart, which you're gonna see, it's all lit up over here. Totally different side of the chart than the caring survival side. The tribal sex is sticky and it's 99.9% about possession. Okay? This is the sexuality that doesn't really particularly care about your sexual fulfillment. It cares about the bargain. This is the channels that say, okay, look, I bring home the bacon. When I come home, you're cooking the food and the house is clean. And we have sex because we're married. No other reason. It's part of the bargain. Are you having orgasms? Well, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
If it's not a part of the bargain.
If we didn't have that in the contracts, this is crazy deep. Man, studying this has been blowing my mind, you guys, because it's so liberating to see the hangups that we've had. So if you're operating as someone with these lines or even one of these gates or your partner has it, you gotta make some space and be forgiving that they might have some very strong views about marriage contracts and relationships. And this channel is possibly going to have a very hard time with open relationships.
Well,
unless that's the contract.
There we go.
Or they're gonna. This is the channel that say, oh yes, I'm a man and I can have 6 wives because that's how the tribe has always done it. So this isn't about. Ironically, it's not about sex. Sex is just part of the bargain, but sex is not the focus. Possession, tradition, survival of the tribe, the connection and stickiness of the tribe staying together is the focus here, okay? It's based on touch. Notice it doesn't connect at all to the throat. These are the people that they've been married 50 years. They're holding hands everywhere they go. They might not even be liking each other in that moment, but they're holding hands. There's this comfort in the touch. This is also about smell. This is the relationship that's not talking a lot, but there's touch and there's comfort in the touch, right? So this is very touchy-feely, tribal, sticky, old school. This is also where the fundamentalism comes in. Fundamentalism at its core is based on a deep fear that we fall out of favor with God, right? So it gets very heavy. Kayvon has 1949. When we first got together, I felt that energy. And I was like, you know, it's funny because the mind, without this information, will make up stories about why these energies are there. So in my mind, I was like, oh, well, you know, he's from the South and he just has a different idea about certain things, you know? And I was raised by this super liberal Australian mother who's like really loose about it. She was like, don't even get married. Don't do it. Just don't do it. You know, so I was like this freewheeling 6'3" with gate 50. I was like, I'm not trying to be tied down. At the beginning, I was the one saying we should be in an open relationship. And Kayvon was like, oh, no. Right?
Yeah.
And then the tables turned. And a few years later, Kayvon was like, we need to open. And I got super triggered. And I was like, had to go into past lives and clear all this stuff out. So we went through that process. But, you know, but Kayvon, he's been actively working on it. So he's been able to bring flexibility into the 1949 bargain. And we're constantly updating our bargain. A relationship is a living, breathing thing. So we constantly update the contract. Okay. Can I go to the next one, babe, or do you want to add anything? Okay. So I want to go next to the individual stream. Now, I've got a lot of stuff going on here. The individual stream, once again, I want you to notice this stream is acoustic. It's about verbal foreplay. It's about the buildup and excitement of the potential sexual encounter that could one day occur. But it's not actually about the sex. It's about poetry. It's about romance. It's about, we go to the cafe and I tell you, you know, this novel I read that I was loved, and then you tell me about a book you read that you loved, and we share and exchange things, and then we separate, and I go have my individual feelings and experience of that romance, and you go have your individual experience of that romance, right? And in fact, with this channel, these channels, the actual sexual encounter can destroy the relationship, because remember that this side of the chart, not being logical, it's emotional. There's no perfection in this side of the chart. Perfection comes from the logic side, the left side. So this romantic line is imagining this perfect thing that can happen, but then sometimes you actually have the sex and it's like, ugh, the relationship falls flat on its butt.
So this is phone sex.
Yeah, and I'm about to tell. So I have 22, and I was in like this 2-year relationship with somebody who has gate 12. I think we also have something on the other line, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I'm telling you, all we did was talk for 2 years. And we were actually getting satisfaction of this relationship. We never ended up having sex to this day. Okay? But it was his voice. If you have gate 22, you can get infatuated with the voice. This stream also is about infatuation, right? Now, we can homogenize and judge infatuation, but the strength of infatuation is it gives you the courage when the emotional wave is right, kind of like double dutch, when you're at the right point in the rhythm. Infatuation gives you the courage to jump into the stream, right? So gate 22 people, the voice can get you and snare you. So I had a 2-year relationship based on a voice. Now there was other stuff going on too. He was like wicked smart. It was super exciting in other ways, but we never even had sex. And I'm a 3 body. The 3 in the back, that's a 3 vehicle, that's super promiscuous. I don't have boundaries about having sex. So just to let you know how different these are. This stream is not really into the tribal stuff. It's not really into the stickiness because it's individual. It's not trying to be forced into the tribal stuff. It wants to do what's right for it as an individual. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go to the only stream that is actually about the sexual act.
Yeah, so people with any of these activations, you are definitely going to want to be having sex because this is about experience. And I'll let Michelle, because she's explained this so well.
Yeah, only because I had a great teacher. So this stream is visual. This is the stream that birthed pornography. And our beloved friend Z earlier today did this fantastic presentation about, the AI and the corruption of pornography and all that stuff. But just know there's also another side of it. When we clear the shadow, there is this very positive, healthy thing with shared, remember, this is a shared collective stream, shared sexuality, okay? This is the stream where you're having a sexual experience just for the sake of the experience. It's completely unsticky. This is why the tribal stream hates this stream. Talking about hates it. It's very disruptive to the tribe. The tribe has basically been designed to repress this stream, okay? This stream is, you've got this pressure from the root with this visual fantasy. Okay, I want to experience, being with 3 girls at once, okay? And then it comes to be gate 30 is going through this emotional wave, and one day the emotional wave says yes, and then you get around these girls with 35 and 36, and bang, you're in the hot tub, you're in the bed, fantasy achieved. Afterwards, are you going to say, we should all live together, let's have children and raise babies and start a community? No. This stream is the stream that's like, you're in it, you're totally in the experience, in the moment, and then afterwards you're like, look, babe, it was really always just about the sex from the beginning, so I'm going to bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Scientific. So this is for scientific purposes. Whenever you see a lot of 3s back to back, the 3 is automatically letting you know that this is an experiment. So this is like the experience. This is like the collective, but it's based on experience and experiments. So these people will experiment at least once in any given level of their sexuality.
Especially gate 36. Now, here's something that Ra also said. Gate 36 is the most courageous gate in the chart. It's a 3 and a 6, total chaos, trying out new stuff. Gate 36 is the people who are like, well, I'll try anything once. And the example that he gives is like, the reason why that requires courage is, let's say you're like, well, we're going to have sex in a canoe. And nobody's ever done it in a canoe. Okay? So you have to have the courage to try it in a canoe. Canoe's not really stable. It might flip over. You might get caught and go down a waterfall. You might have piranhas jump in the boat. Who knows what's going to happen? But the gate 36 has the courage to jump in and try it anyway. Mm-hmm. Right? Let me go back to sharing the screen. So you've got 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 0. A lot of 3 energy here. Okay? There can be a lot of pressure. This is also the channels that bring fetishes. So what happens, especially down here, 41 has this idea that it wants to experience something. Visually, it has this idea of it. And if it can't experience it, if it can't get the energy to the throat to manifest it, it can become kind of obsessive. So this can also get stalkery. There's like a pressure here that like, I have to have this experience. This is not a masturbation gate. Gate 40, which Dr. Phil had over here, it can just masturbate and get rid of the energy that way. Not so in gate 41. Gate 41 has to have the experience, or it can get locked into a fetish of trying to get this out of its system. So people with these channels, they quote unquote have to get it out of their system. So let's say, your husband or wife, you're in a monogamous relationship, and they go jump in bed with the neighbor, and they're like, I had to get it out of my system. It's not personal. I don't care about them. I love you. I don't even love them. They're not lying about that.
Nope.
They're not lying about that.
It's literally an activation. And because it's coming from the root, it's pressure. The root is a pressure center. So it gives you that impulse to kind of go out and to move and to go out and to do something. So a lot of times we get, especially, I know a lot of men and a lot of women, we don't understand it, because it's such a base feeling. it's such a base feeling that will move you, and you can't really explain it. It's not that you, like she said, it's not that you don't have love for your wife or your girlfriend. It's literally energy. And because it has to learn, gate 4, the 4 is learning. 4 is the nerd. 4 wants information. The 1 is investigation.
And pioneering.
And pioneering. So you can see how investigation and that want is connected and it's in the root. So it gives you this want and this need to go investigate. And sometimes, depending on the rest of your chart, if you have certain mutation, certain channels, like if you have 3, gate 3 in the sacral, that's the seed. A lot of people with that are artists, and they have certain information that can get transferred through their sexual energy. So couple that with gate 41, that is an open being. This person does need, it's like every now and again, you have to kind of have this space with this person to like go off to the side a little bit, because you may have to deliver a message via seed in someone else's playground, right? In someone else's garden.
Right.
So that you can, someone else, so that you can create this unified field of awakening or enlightenment or inspiration, depending on the person that's dropping the seeds. If you have a lot of negative energy in you, then that is the type of energy that you'll be spreading around. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to these activations. You know, so this is why we promote higher self. You know, because the higher self is gonna lead you exactly to who you need to be led to perform any type of sexual act. It's not gonna be something that your personality is gonna be governing at any time.
The personality is just along for the ride. The vehicle is having sex.
Yes.
And that can create, I don't want to divert too much because I want to get to the caring side as well. But remember, we were talking about this the other day where you've had experiences where the body, been around girls, and the body wants to have sex, and you can feel that, you can pick up on that because Kevon is super open, but their mind and personality is like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And this is happening with a lot of us. There's this duality happening where our personality feels like it's the boss, right? But the personality doesn't have sex. The body has sex. So like me, I'm a 6'3", right? My personality, the 6, is looking for a soulmate. You know, I want to have a soulmate. I want to be with somebody that I can build together and manifest and all this stuff, you know, and create, you know, live out my purpose with this person. But my vehicle, the 3, it's bonds made and broken. It's super promiscuous. It's experimental. So a lot of times my body will want to have sex. My personality's like, oh, because another message that's real important, the genetics are attracted to difference. Okay? So like that 59-6 we looked at earlier, the 59-6 will have like the white supremacist having sex with like, you know, a black woman who's like, you know, Wiccan, and he's super Christian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the genes, the body doesn't care about that. The genes don't care, are you going to get along? The genes don't care, well, will you have a nurturing environment with peace and prosperity? The genes are like, let's mix some of this with some of that. The genes are like a mad scientist.
Yes.
Okay, so if that happens with you and you're attracted to somebody and your mind is like, no, follow your strategy and authority. The mind may not know. You may not know mentally why you have to have sex with a certain person. Mm-hmm. So following strategy and authority is really important to cut through a lot of this homogenization. And now another thing, you know, to release the judgment of this, you know, this Kundalini line is that without this, there's no possibility for evolution and permutation. We'd be forced to be stuck in the old tribal ways forever. And understand, in the tribe, you get to have sex, but like, you might have to do a lot of stuff like oral sex, massages, cuddling, you know, masturbation, because the tribe can't have you having 30 children, right?
Yeah, from 30 different people.
Yeah, so the tribe is concerned with that. This line over here is just concerned about sex. It's not concerned about procreation. It's not the fertility line. This is the experiential, visual, sex, pornographic line, and it's shared. Masturbation is not going to cut it for this line. It's just not. So if you have this or you're dealing with a partner who has it, the more that you can accept and forgive and release the judgment around it, the easier it's going to be. And actually, I mean, like what we found even with being with the open relationship, releasing the taboos, because this line has 0 taboo. This is the Kama Sutra line, right? It's the only Kama Sutra line. Releasing those taboos, it releases the charge.
Yes, it does.
A lot of what people are getting upset about the cheating and stuff like that, it's like there's a charge around it because it's this forbidden thing. Take the charge away, you'd be so surprised as to how much that interest dissolves. When it's like, go ahead, you can have it. It's like, oh, well, it's not such a great prize anymore now. And you can really get into following your strategy of authority as to like who you're really meant to be sexually connecting with. Okay, so I'm gonna jump. Do you want to say anything while I jump to the other?
No, we good. It's just I know.
Yeah, we gotta go through this quickly.
We got really over our time.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go through this very quickly just to get the point. We'll start with the tribal to go by the same.
And you all know, like when we talk, it's how it is. It's jewels. It's like we have a treasure chest. You know what I mean? And so we do apologize for going over the time. But you know, this is for our health and our emotional and our relationships, and we're all relating with each other. You know, everything is a relationship, and I feel like this stuff, like you say, like it's blowing my mind, y'all. You got to know this. Like I haven't even studied this and mastered the sexual part of this, so my mind is being blown right now, just like everybody else's. Like I'm loving it.
Yeah, I went into this a few years ago. Like I kind of decided to specialize in this because when I found out there was like a whole pool of knowledge just about the sexuality, and I started to read up on it, I was like, oh my gosh, this could help a lot of people.
Yes, and Alchemia Gray says this is exciting. So happy to be able to love each person as they are.
Yes, that is the main message of human design. Thank you.
That is the message.
And when you're able to do that, the spaciousness that's created and the energy that gets freed up that used to be caught up in these trips of judgment, despair. Oh, you don't love me because you're not sexing me this way or caring for me this way. We've been doing this to ourselves and one another, and we don't have to do this anymore. And I'm going to show you that this is also true with the caring. And this sometimes can be a little harder to accept because this is about your long-term relationships. Here's the tribal caring. This is the themes here is, are you going to survive as a tribe? Okay. Are you going to achieve things or fail? These lines are about getting the ego to do the work of caring, and in return, the ego gets rewarded. And the ego gets rewarded for caring more than anything else. This is part of the tribal exchange. You know, you do this work, I care about you. I do this work, you care about me. We stay together, the tribe survives, our traditions survive, our ancestors lived through us. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, however, not very flexible, and it doesn't care at all about the individual. Sometimes the caring of the tribe will be felt individually, sometimes it won't. But if you're stuck in the hospital in a coma, you better believe it's the tribal people that will take your children in and keep them in their home and feed them and bathe them for you.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to walk your dog and water your plants and water your front yard, okay? Only the tribal stream will do that. So there's the sticky side, there's the possessive side. It can feel a bit oppressive, but on the other hand, it's nothing like the tribe when something goes wrong. I remember Kayvon telling me the story. This child went missing in his mom's neighborhood. The entire neighborhood came out looking for this child. I'm talking about everybody.
Nobody calling each other, by the way. Nobody was on the phone calling each other to come outside and look for this child. Everybody instinctively felt something weird was going on, and they started coming out of the house one by one. And then it's just, we knew that we were looking for a missing child. Like, it was so weird to watch how the tribe would people just started to just come together and work as this unit. And the child was definitely found inside of the house, underneath the couch cushions.
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
Right?
Wow.
But that's the tribe, and there's aspects of the tribe that feel really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, however, take someone like me, so I got to do both of these. I got to do integration and okay. Take someone like me, right? I've got the 2057. This is individual. These are individual activations here. So I'm designed to focus on caring for myself. Now I have this unconscious. I actually have a lot of challenges caring for myself. I actually have challenges with self-care. So just because, okay.
Excuse me.
Okay, Kayvon will be right back. Let's go to the restroom. So just because you have something activated, it's a theme in your life, it can mean you have challenges around it or you're perfecting it. It can go either way. Incidentally, just notice, everyone's chart has everything in the chart. Just because something isn't lit up doesn't mean we erase it off your chart. The white streams and the white centers in your chart have the capacity to experience these things, but it's only when it's colored in that it's consistent and reliable for you. So that's the difference. So we've had people say to us, yeah, but I'm everything, I'm everything. Yeah, we're all pure source at the end of the day, but we're also in differentiated bodies that operate differently and have different focuses and themes, okay? So the thing to understand about the individual is that the individual caring is about empowering each other. So the individual is not interested in caring for someone who can't get it together. Now I definitely have this side of me. If you're like wanting to be codependent and you want me to enable some nonsense with you, oh, you're gonna really feel the fire. That's not gonna happen, okay? But the positive side of this is like the individual empowerment. I'm gonna care for you in the individual stream by helping you to become more empowered. The individual doesn't want to do any caring that's not going to do any good. It's not obligated to care for everybody like the tribe. So it's colder, you know? It's colder. All the caring side is actually a colder energy. It's about survival. It's about the development of intelligence that will keep us going, right? So the individual, I will help you as an individual, absolutely. I will give you ultimate empowerment. But if you don't want to change and you don't want to do what it takes to shift into your self-leadership, you're not going to get a lot of attention or energy from me because it's not my role. I'm not as tribal as, say, Kayvon. I appreciate a lot of the things about the tribal, but I'm not super tribal that way. Okay, so we're going to go jumping. I know I'm going fast with these ones, but I'm really aware of the time. We're going to go to the final one. So this is really interesting because when we get to the collective stream, what?
I'm sorry, just check.
Oh, so you can see, yeah. When we get to the collective stream, this is about collective caring. This is about caring about the entire species. The collective stream cares about everything and everyone. Okay? That might sound very noble, but please know if you have these lines, you are not meant to apply that level of scrutiny and intensity to your personal life and relationships. 1858, the channel of judgment. Kayvon and I both have this.
You will rip your relationship apart.
You'll rip yourself apart. You can be nitpicky. It's an energy that's really designed to be focused on a larger scale, big picture. This is the energy that will set up food banks. This is the energy that has set up big government and welfare and all this stuff. Some of that is great, right? Remember, everything in this, it's a yin and yang. It's got a positive, it's got a challenge. The challenge of this side is this is also the energy that says, oh, well, in order to care for our collective nation, we need to build weapons and bomb people. So there's a selflessness in it, but then it can also get oddly twisted and selfish. And when you have these channels, like, so I know I've seen myself and Kayvon do this. He's also got the 48 too, so we got a lot of energy over here. We'll get into this stream of like dissecting what's wrong with society and how things are functioning and how the government should change. And I'm especially like the government tip and blah, blah, blah. My last name is Gaza. I like can't get out of the freaking politics. We'll get real into that, and it's Kundalini, right? So there can be a lot of energy behind this. But other people around us, they might not be interested. If you're tribal, you don't really want to talk about this necessarily because this is not really about your tribe. You're on your tribe, not the entire species. And this can even sometimes be threatening to the tribe because this homogenized government program can come in and try to say, we know what's best to you, tribe. We're going to break you up, right? So again, everything, positive, negative, good, bad. It's like that story. Good luck, bad luck. Who knows? Who knows? It's just waves. There's the love and there's the hate. Neither of them are the total truth. It's just a mechanism. So if we can just be this observer, this compassionate observer, and not identify with any part of these waves of how these mechanics are operating, it's a lot more spacious. It's a lot more forgiving. It's a lot less hurtful. We're not so caught up in these stories. Oh, yeah. Z says she's got the full splenic caring, 2057, 2838. This might partly be why I'm a great intuitive healer. Yeah. Now, here's the interesting thing, Z. When the 2838 comes in, it can shift the 2057 instead of just caring about itself to broaden its caring. That's another thing that happened when I got with Kayvon. I was like very much this kind of single, independent, manifesting generator, and suddenly overnight I became a stepmom with a partner who needed me to care about them. And you know, my individual caring side sometimes I'd be like, Kayvon, you're not dying. You know, you can do this. I don't have to do this for you, right? Like you can make your dinner. But when it comes to, at the time, Junior was 4 or 5, you can't say that to a 4-year-old. So this tribal caring kicked in, this 2838 that Kayvon had kicked in. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to start to focus on other people besides just myself. All right, so we're pretty much at the end of it. I just want to give like a couple. Do you want to say anything else, babe?
I mean, just other than, not really. I mean, just to wrap up the caring part, it's literally, as far as when it comes to just the sexual part, just know that, you know, if you have more caring than you have on the sexual part, then this will be the reason why you may not be having a lot of sex in your life, or you may want it. You may, because what I also know is in the human design, what we don't have, we want.
Yes.
And we crave it. So even that in itself can create certain obsessions.
Yes.
But knowing that you may be more of a nurturing lover, then it can bring a lot more stability on the inside of you, because now you're not trying to be something that you're not. You know, some people deal with a partner who's extra freaky and into doing a lot of different things, but if you don't have that activation, you don't really, you know, you don't have to be that.
Yes.
And we'll break our backs trying to be these things that we're not, just so that we can please the next person. When following that strategy and that authority, it will bring you into the flow. It'll bring you into the flow. Now, it may not bring you into that one relationship that's going to take you all the way to the ends of eternity, but it will bring you on that stream. And depending on your activations within that stream, you may be the person that goes from person to person, or you may have that one single monogamous relationship that takes you into the end of eternity. But now we don't have to judge each other or look down upon somebody just because they are different energetically on the inside than you are.
Right. Nobody can be everything sexually. Nobody can be everything caring-wise. If you're running the food bank, you might not be able to be the one who's like empowering on the individual level because you're feeding the entire homeless population. If you're tribal, you're like doing all this stuff, you know, doing all these burdens of keeping the tribe going. It's very sticky. You're focused on your tribe. You can't really worry about sending aid across the sea to another country, right? But somebody with the collective caring, they're going to actually be thinking about that. And it's okay if you don't care about the collective stuff, if that's not in your chart. It's okay to not care if that's not what you're designed to do. And that's a big statement. We homogenize caring, I think, even more than sex, because there's so much judgment on certain types of sex that we can say, oh, I accept you're my wife, so you won't be freaky. I'm not going to homogenize you because you're my wife, so you're going to give me the pure, tribal sex, right? That's so pure. But with caring, we want people to care always in every direction, and we're not capable of that. So in a lot of ways, this is also really a call for more openness in our relating, even if you don't want to cross the sexual openness barrier. But just, we can't, even Dr. Phil doesn't have every stream defined. He doesn't have the freaky stuff defined. He doesn't have anything in that outer channel of the Kundalini Kama Sutra sex. So even with all those defined centers, there could be a case made that maybe his wife, she needs that. She might need to have a little guy on the side every now and again. I don't really see that happening for them. But just knowing that it's not personal, whether you're Dr. Phil, Sandra Bullock, Kayvon, Michelle, these things aren't personal. They're mechanical. We're not angry that the sailboat isn't flying. We're not angry that the 18-wheeler isn't speedy like the Lamborghini, right? This is mechanical.
Yes.
It's not personal. So I'm going to do just a quick advertising and then see if there's questions, but I just want to let you guys know about these deals that we set up. This is a special offer for everyone, even if you've done work with us before. If you use the code Sacred Sexuality, and our website is activationcoaching.com, we're giving 15% off on all the sessions, and you can buy 10 sessions with this discount code if you want to, right? So we have an automated scheduler. If you go onto our homepage, the green button at the top will take you to a list of all the possible private sessions. So once you go through the automated process, there'll be a coupon code box and you just write it in. It's one word, Sacred Sexuality. So that's available. Activationcoaching.com. Now also on that page, it looks a little bit different on the mobile and cell phone. Oh my gosh, I use Wix and it's hard to actually edit for cell phone and mobile. It still comes out wonky because you have limited capacity to edit, but it'll look something like this even on your cell phone. If you just click this green button, we have a package where you get 2 individual charts and a connection chart reading. And by doing this as a package, you're going to save $200. So even if you're returning clients, you would be saving money with this. But if you're returning clients and both of you have already had sessions and you want to just jump into the connection chart reading, give me an email and I'll give you a special coupon code to get a discount on that. So this would be more for somebody who both of the members of the couple have never had a reading. This also works, by the way, for if you're having a troubled relationship with your child, your mother, your sibling, your boss. This connection chart applies regardless of the nature of the relationship. And it's so profound, the problems that you can shift with this information. So, this is for people who are really ready to make a bigger commitment of time, If you just want to kind of try it out, if you want to be a 3 and test the waters, 15% for the individual sessions. And let me get us back to stop share. So, we've gone an awfully long time. This is actually short for us. Mm-hmm. But, as you can see, this is a very complicated topic, and I did my best to take very advanced stuff and give it to people in a way that hopefully, even if you're new to human design, you were able to absorb some of the basic messages here, which is there's no rules because we're all so different. You have your own rules, and to live your life correctly, you follow your strategy and authority.
Yes, yes, yes. So I guess with that being said, just want to thank you all. Thank you all for, for being here with us and sitting here and getting elevated and just take this information and really absorb it and really ponder on it and apply it to your situation. Pull up these free charts. We have free videos at our website at www.activationcoaching.com. We have a school that's called the New Earth Self-Leadership Academy, where we are going in on transformation and giving you actual tools and practical knowledge that will help uplift your soul and spirit. So thank you again, Margarita. We love you. We love you all. Thank you all. And I just know the rest of this summit is going to be amazing. It's already been amazing with all of the previous speakers before us. So we are just adding more meat to the potatoes. So thank you all. Thank you all. And I want you all to have a great, great day.
Yeah, so I put all the contact info in the chat, but in case people don't get a chat room in the recordings, humandesignamerica.com for your free chart. Just get it. Get the visual. It's going to help you integrate it. This is a 7-year process at minimum to integrate this information, because the first 7 years we absorbed all this not self-conditioning. So give yourself time and space to put this into play. The way you put it into play is strategy and authority. Our website is activationcoaching.com. I think I spelled it wrong in the chat. So coaching is not cocaine. Activation Coaching. And then activationcoaching@gmail.com if you want to connect with us. We welcome your emails. We also have a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. It's all called Activation Coaching. Mm-hmm. Z, Earth Star Healer, is also part of our team now, so she's got a page, and she's teaching in the school with us. So if you're interested in the school, definitely shoot me an email. Get on the mailing list on our website, because we're talking about starting the next semester a little earlier than planned, so you might want to get in on that. And yeah, so I'm sorry that we weren't able to really do questions and respond to you all individually, but we've seen your comments, and we just really appreciate y'all being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And like she say, Facebook, just hit us up if you guys aren't already our friends. Kevon Fair is my name. Kevone, Fair, Fair. You have Michelle Gaza. So you can just type in our names on Facebook and you'll find us.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. This was so dense and so delicious.
Yeah.
So much to learn here. And just to give a plug again to the New Earth Self-Leadership Academy, it has transformed my life, learning about my human design, following my strategy and authority. Obviously, I'm still, you know, in the learning phases, but it has just been revelatory. So for anyone who's watching who does not know anything about human design, I would suggest that you look into it, look into getting a reading, and perhaps joining the school, because it is fantastic. So thank you guys so much. This was so fun. Our next presentation is tonight at 9, and then we have a very full roster tomorrow. Actually, Kenya from Juju Mama that Michelle mentioned, she's speaking tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, as well as lots of other fantastic folks. Check out the schedule, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. Love you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Take care.